Hello, and welcome to this intro episode thing of how to make Uno the card game in Blender console. What I mean by the console is I mean the console. So you can make a 3D display for it if you want. I will be talking about how you... Well, actually, no, I won't. But hopefully you'll know how to do that. I might do that at the end of it. Is like a extended version of this series, but I'm trying to keep this short because whenever I make a series, it ends up being a few hundred episodes, which takes months to watch. So I'm going to try to keep this one nice and short, just 6 hours I'm trying to complete it in. Hopefully I don't ramble on about things too much. But anyway, I've got flowcharts and things to flowchart things. So to help track time and time management and all that sort of stuff when I'm making the episodes. So everything will be a little less chaotic, because some people may know my episodes are... Anyway. Cats jumping around the place. Yeah, so this is a flowchart of how we will program the game of Uno. A simple pseudocode sort of flowchart thing. There's probably a few things in here that are wrong. Well, I mean, not wrong, but wouldn't work, so we'll have to fix and stuff like that. I don't know, I've looked through this thing like 100 times. Every time I find something else I've forgotten about. Anyway, so yeah. I probably should mention how the game of Uno works first. This is like my third take of trying to record this thing. So, here is the deck of cards. This is all the things you have in an Uno game. The rules of the game as I understand them, which may or may not be the rules other people play by. You have all of these cards, you put them into a deck, you shuffle them randomly, as we got here. You start, you have however many players you have. You make the deck and shuffle them, which could be an extra function. I should have like make deck, shuffle, and then go deal cards. Maybe see if I can fit something in there. I don't know. I'll just make the flowchart look better. But yeah, once you've done that, you've got to add the first card to the stack. What I call the stack is the stack where you put your cards when you have your go. You take turns going around in a circle, putting, if there's more than two people, it would be like a triangle or a line, I guess. You put your cards on the stack, so you need a card there first. So it's just whatever card is on top of the deck after you've handed out the cards. That's normally the first one that goes on the stack. And then depending on what that card is, depends on what the player can put down. So here we have the player chooses card to place. I should also mention these diamond things are inputs, as I got up here, inputs, functions, and subfunctions. So this is where a player actually does something. These are functions, which will be a chunk of code. And the sub-functions, I'm not sure what to call this. This is a line of code. These are something outside of a function, I guess, outside of the function. I mean, they're between the functions. I don't know. I suppose all of this stuff would be contained within a function, and then, I don't know. Between start and win is, I don't know. These flowcharts are always confusing to me when I try to relate them to the code itself without pseudocode. Anyway, continuing on. So the player chooses a card to place, and then it checks to see if that card is valid. If it is an invalid card, it would return false, and they have to choose a card. It'll explain why that card was invalid. But if it's true, it continues on. What I mean by what a valid and invalid card is in the game of Uno, say the first card that's on the deck is green 9. So you have a green 9 down on top. So whoever is right of the dealer normally, or clockwise of the dealer or something like that right would be anti-clockwise, I guess left of the dealer then, has to go first. So we don't really have a dealer in this case, it's just generated. So I'm just going to assume that player 1 will be the... Well, actually, I suppose it doesn't really matter. It's just the player 1 will be the first player to go. Anyway, so a green 9, as this is a 9. Wait, did I explain what the cards were? Nope, I didn't. Okay. But anyway, so a green 9, that is what's on the deck. So on top of this card, the player can put any other green card. It doesn't matter at all which one. It could be a number 1, or one of these 3, or one of these black ones. Actually, yeah, but a black one is a black card. Those are special. Let's not worry about the black cards right now. Let's just continue with the green ones. Yeah, so they could put any one of these green cards down on top of that 9. But they could also put any one of these 9 cards down on top of the 9, regardless of what color it is. So they could put down a blue 9 on top of this 9, and that is a valid move. But they could also put any green card down, and that is also a valid move. And the black cards, but I'll get to that in a moment. So, yeah, so if it was a 5, a yellow 5, they could put down any yellow card or any 5 card. Same with the 0 or any other thing here. But then you got these 3 special cards off to the side here. These 3 special cards are they have special functions that affect the next player, such as this cancel one, which is skip. This is the skip card. It will skip whoever's next goal it is. So it'll skip if player 1 puts it down, player 2 gets skipped, and then it's player 3's go. This double arrow thing is a reverse. It reverses the direction of the game. So instead of players taking turns clockwise, it'll go anti-clockwise, unless there's only 2 players, in which case it just acts like a skip. And then you've got this one here, which is a picture of 2 cards and a 2 there in this pictures, which is a draw 2. So if you put down a draw 2, the next person has to draw 2 cards, unless they also have a draw 2 of any color. It doesn't matter, because you can only put, yeah, anyway. So the color doesn't matter, as long as the value is the same. So I'm going to call the numbers and the fancy things the value, and the colors are the suits. So, yeah. So if the next person doesn't have a draw 2, they have to draw 2 cards, and that's their turn. Then it would be like player's 3 turns if player 1 put down the draw 2. But if player 1 puts down a draw 2, and then player 2 also has a draw 2, and they put it down, then player 3 will have to pick up 4 cards instead of just 2. So, and that will continue on until eventually somebody can't put it down a draw 2 because they don't have any, and they have to pick it up. And they have to pick up the collective of all the other cards that have been put down, or the other draw cards. But anyway, then you've got these black cards. These black cards are special because you can put them down on any other color. It doesn't matter. And this rainbow wheel one with the 4 suits on it, you get to change the color of the card you put that down onto. So if you put that down on a, say, green 8, you can then say that it is now a blue. Yeah, so this is basically a blue card, but with nothing on it. So you can't put down any other symbol because there's nothing else that matches it apart from another change color. But change color cards are black, so you can put them down on anything anyway, except for draws. If somebody else put down a draw and you have to draw 2. Anyway, the next card is this draw 4. It has the same special feature thing as the change color one, as you can change your color after you put it down. But the next person has to draw 4 cards unless they also have a draw 4. So if player 1 puts it down, he can then change the color to whatever it was. It doesn't, regardless of what color it was before. And then the next player, player 2, would have to pick up 2 cards unless he also has a draw 4. And if he did have a draw 4 and he puts it down, he can then change the color again to whatever he wants. And player 3 would have to pick up 8 cards unless player 3 happened to have a draw 4 as well. Which would really suck for player 1, because there's very low chance that player 1's going to have 2 draw 4 cards. Anyway, so that is the basic rules of Uno. And that's how you play the game. There's apparently a whole scoring thing with points and stuff like that, but I don't get how any of that stuff works, so I've never played with that. I'm just going to leave that out. It'll just make things more complicated anyway, and the tutorial longer. So, let's go look at this thing again. So, when the player chooses a card, it does the whole loopy thing unless it's a valid card, in which case the card gets put down. If it's true, it's valid. And then it does this card check thing here. This card check checks for black cards. If it is a black card, then it asks for a player input for what color it should be. If the color that they chose is valid or invalid, it just asks again. It won't actually ask again, it will just say that's invalid or just do nothing. But if it is valid, it will go okay, and then it will check the remaining cards. Because a player just put down a card, which means a player could be out of cards. You win the game of Uno, I should have said before, by getting rid of all of your cards. So whoever gets rid of all their cards first wins. And you can keep playing to see who comes second and third if there's more than 2 people playing, but we're not going to worry about that in this game. So you either win or you lose. Other people can program that in if they want. It's up to them. But anyway, so yeah, this will check to see if they still have any cards remaining, because they just put down a card and it could have been their last one. If they have no cards remaining, then they win. Else, if they still have cards remaining, then it's the next player's turn. Then it goes to this other valid card check. Just card check. So this extra one checks for a skip. It'll be all in the same function, but it'll just have different conditions depending, different returns, or different conditions depending on what it returns, or whatever. Anyway, so if it is a skip, then it will go to the next player's turn without asking the last player what cards they want to place. So yeah, that basically would go, player 1 does that, then it goes to the next player, which would be then player 2's turn. Then it checks to see if it was a skip. If it was a skip, then it's player 3's turn, and then it continues on. We'll have conditions to break out of this so it doesn't loop around forever. I did actually have a problem with that when I made it before. It's like, why is it doing this? Anyway. So then this will keep looping around until eventually somebody wins. This game will also have a basic AI for all of the other players. It's just going to be a one-player game with AIs. But I will explain how you could add other players, so you can have a 2-player game, but that won't really work with the console version, because you can see the history of what that card was. I guess you'll just have the other person like spin around on the chair and just look at a wall wait for you to make your turn. And then when you end your turn, you could be seeing their cards. But you could have like an interval thing of just putting a whole lot of nothing in the command console and then saying, is the next player ready? And then displaying that stuff. Anyway, but there's ways around that. I'm not going to worry about that stuff though. But yeah, the AI, you may think that AIs are very, very difficult, and you need like advanced qualifications and all this other stuff, and you probably never even tried to think about it because you just think it's going to be that hard. But in reality, AIs are actually quite easy for something like this. Extremely easy even. I think it's only 8 lines of code, which is basically just some loops and conditions. A loop and some conditions. Anyway, this flowchart really helps for explaining how the AI would work. So, let's say player 1 did that turn, and then it's player 2's turn, which is an AI. So what the AI would do is, because of the way we have this set up, it can just loop through all of its cards. So it goes card 1, is it valid? False? Okay, card 2, valid? False? Card 3, and so on until eventually it finds one that is a valid card, and it continues on. Then it will just pick a random color, and then continue on. Then it will be the next player's turn, which could be the actual player or another AI, it doesn't matter. But if it loops through all of their cards and there aren't any valid ones, because it keeps returning false, then it just picks up a card. Pick up. I spelled that wrong, didn't I? That's supposed to have an I in it or something. Anyway, sorry for any spelling mistakes. So, yeah. It picks up its cards and then continues on. So you could have just an AI-driven game with no real players, and you can make bets on which AI will win and stuff like that if you wanted to. I don't know. Just AI versus AI. The Uno Championship battle. Yeah, but that's basically it. So, I'm not sure if I mentioned it already, because now I'm getting confused because I've recorded this too many times. Each episode will be one of these nodes, except for the sub-functions, because they're basically only a line of code. So episode 1 is just going to be the input of players, even though it should probably be make deck, because you can make the deck, you can deal the cards, you can do the stack, and then you can have the player choose the cards without needing to know how many players there are. But I'll try go in order, even though that might be a bit confusing at first, because this is irrelevant until player 2 has a go, or dealing cards. But yeah, that shall be that. Also, while I am recording this demo, intro, whatever, I can show you the version that I made before, which I'm going to completely recreate because it sucked. And that was the wrong version. What? Open. Where is this? It's not the desktop one. It was the second one, but then I opened it and that was the top one. Yeah, so here we go. Did it save it last time? The entire game is only around 272 lines, but this is with a lot of white space, and I got a big chunk of commented stuff up here and all this other stuff. But yeah, this is everything you need to know that we'll be doing. Basically, this does have a lot of errors in it though, but I was taking so long to fix the errors, I was like, I may as well just make it again. Anyway, let me just comment that out, because I was trying to fix the draw, having a problem with draw 4s, so I was trying to fix some errors by adding a whole lot of them to the game, because they're very rare cards otherwise. Anyway, so this is what the game looks like. It's all done within the console, so if I just go over here, I play this, you will see it. This is the game. So, the first card on the stack is a red 9. This is player 1's turn, and this is all of player 1's cards. And surprisingly, I've got a black card. That's pretty rare. So, since it's a red card, I could put down this red reverse, and it is also a 9 card, but I don't have any 9s, so I can't put anything to do with that down. So the only valid cards that I could put down is a red reverse or a black color. So if I just show you, if I try to put down the green 6, it says wrong value. It's not a 9, and obviously it's not a red. But it checks the value before it checks the suit. It does that because of draw cards, it's more efficient. Anyway, so I could put down a blue 3. So let's put that down. I just got to press number 3 on the keyboard, and... what? Hang on, why did I say blue 3? A red reverse. So if I put that down, then it spams a whole lot of stuff, which was the AI's having a go. So this is the AI player. Its go starts here. The card on the stack is a red reverse. And it's player 3's turn, because I have 3 players in this game. I don't have the input for how many players there are, because, as I said, it's pretty irrelevant. I just manually said how many players there were. Anyway, continuing on. So it's player 3's go, because there's 3 players, and I reverse the order the game runs in. So instead of going player 1, 2, and 3, it's doing 1, 3, 2. And you can see here, this is all the cards he had, because for debugging purposes, I need to see what they have to see if it's working. And it put down a card that was the same suit, which the first one that it could put down on a red reverse was a red 8, so it just cycles through them all until it gets whatever it needs. So yeah, then it's player 2's turn, which is also an AI. Red 8 is what's on the stack. It goes through... nope, nope, nope. Nope, nope. Red skip. Hey, what? Green draw 4. Oh, he had a draw 4. Because it's a black card, it could be put down on anything. Which really sucks for me, because now I have to draw 4 cards. And as you can see, it assigned it a random color. So the next player can put down any green card. But I don't have any draw 4s, so I have to pick up. So if I press enter, I pick up cards. Wherever it says my turn was. But this is where I was saying it was broken. I only drew 1 card, and now I'm playing as player 2, so the AI is broken. And that was quite annoying. But anyway. But this is basically how the game looks as I have it here. I might make it look a bit more pretty this run through, but who knows. Anyway, so that is what we'll be doing in this tutorial series. Yeah. And as I said, I might have an extra thing at the end of the series where I do a 3D display of it, but I doubt it. I have some other coding stuff I'm probably going to get distracted with before doing that. Anyway, so yeah, thanks for watching. Yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, donate, share, and everything else. I hope I haven't forgotten anything. Bye.